Just 3 days ago, Senator Elizabeth Warren sent an urgent letter to the Securities and Exchange Commission. Her warning was blunt. She wrote that allowing cryptocurrency into American retirement accounts creates fertile ground for workers and families to lose big. But that is not even the scariest part. Bitcoin just dropped 33% in 6 weeks. It wiped out nearly $800 billion in value. And right now, there is a push to put that kind of volatility directly into your 401k, your retirement savings, the money you are counting on to live when you stop working. This is not fear-mongering. This is happening right now, and it is only one of 5 major threats I am going to break down for you today. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why your 401k faces risks that did not exist 5 years ago. You will know which scams are targeting retirees right now. You will learn how to protect yourself from cyber criminals who are specifically going after retirement accounts. And I will give you a step-by-step action plan to secure your savings. Let us get into it. The 401k has been the backbone of American retirement for nearly 50 years. Since 1978, when this retirement vehicle was created, it has helped millions of people build wealth. Today, Americans hold over $48.1 trillion in retirement assets, our investment news on record assets. That is not a typo. Trillion. With a T. But here is what nobody is telling you. That massive pile of money has painted a target on your back. Hackers, scammers, market forces, and even new government regulations are all creating cracks in what we once thought was a solid foundation. Let me explain the 5 threats, then I will tell you exactly what to do about each one. Threat number 1. Tax rules are changing and not in your favor. Starting this year, 2026, if you earn more than $150,000 annually, the way you contribute to your 401k is fundamentally different. Here is what is happening. The Secure 2.0 Act introduced a new rule. If you made more than $145,000 last year, which adjusts to $150,000 this year, your catch-up contributions must now go into a Roth account. A Roth account means you pay taxes now, not later. What is a catch-up contribution? If you are 50 or older, you can contribute extra money to your 401k beyond the standard limit. The standard limit for 2026 is $24,500. San Juan's IRS on contribution limits. The catch-up amount for people aged 50 to 59 or 64 and older is $8,000. For people aged 60 to 63, it is $11,250. In the past, you could make these catch-up contributions with pre-tax money. That meant you got a tax deduction now and paid taxes later in retirement. Many people prefer this because they expect to be in a lower tax bracket when they retire. The new rule takes away that choice for higher earners. You must pay taxes on that money right now. Let me give you an example. Say you are 52 years old and you earn $160,000 a year. Before this change, you could contribute up to $8,000 in catch-up contributions and get a tax deduction. If you are in the 24% tax bracket, that saves you $1,220 in taxes this year. Now, you pay taxes on that $8,000 upfront. That is an extra $1,320 coming out of your pocket today. For someone in a higher bracket, that number gets even bigger. We are talking about potentially $4,000 more in taxes every year, depending on your situation. But here is where it gets concerning. Analysts are predicting this might be just the beginning. A 2024 report from the Manhattan Institute on 401k Future forecasted that 401k tax benefits could be phased out entirely within a decade. The federal deficit is enormous. Politicians are looking for money, and the tax advantages you enjoy on your retirement account represent billions in revenue the government is not collecting. Now, I am not saying this will definitely happen, but the direction of policy is clear. They are reducing your benefits, not expanding them. Stay with me. The next threat is something that can empty your entire account overnight. Threat number 2, cybercriminals are coming for your retirement. Retirement plans manage over $37 trillion in assets. Savant wealth on cybersecurity priority. That makes them one of the most valuable targets on the internet. In 2025, cybersecurity became the number one concern for plan sponsors. 7% of plans reported breaches. For large plans, that number rose to 10%. Let me tell you about a real attack that happened. Hackers used something called quishing. This is QR code phishing. They sent emails about urgent 401k updates to company administrators. When an admin scanned the code with their phone, they logged into a fake portal that looked exactly like the real one. The criminals captured their login credentials. Then they had access to retirement accounts. The data inside your 401k is incredibly valuable. Your social security number, your bank account details, your investment information, your personal address. This is everything a criminal needs to steal your identity or drain your accounts. In 2023, a breach of the MoveIt software affected over 2,000 organizations, including numerous companies in the retirement plan business. That stolen data has monetary value. Criminals sell it. Buyers use it for identity fraud, future hacking attempts, and social engineering schemes. What is social engineering? It is when criminals manipulate people into giving up information. They call your plan administrator pretending to be you. They answer security questions using information they bought from a previous data breach. Then they change your beneficiary information or request distributions from your account. Here is a disturbing statistic. Only 27% of plan sponsors have formal cybersecurity policies. On Economic Times on Scam Frenzy. That means nearly 3 out of 4 retirement plans lack comprehensive protection for your money. The Department of Labor has intensified enforcement. They are now examining plans specifically for cyber risks. But gaps persist, and you cannot rely solely on your employer to protect you. I will tell you exactly how to protect yourself later in this video. But first, let me show you how criminals are exploiting the rule changes I just mentioned. Threat number 3, scams are exploding. Every time new financial rules come out, scammers pounce. They know people are confused. They use that confusion against you. The FTC reported dramatic increases in scams against older adults. In 2025, Fox News on scams targeting retirees. Many of these scams target retirement funds specifically. Government imposter schemes alone have drained billions from retirement accounts. Here is how these scams work. You receive an email, phone call, or letter that looks official. The message references the real 401k rule changes happening in 2026. It might say something like, important update to your retirement account or action required new IRS regulations. The scammer pretends to be from the IRS, your plan administrator, or a financial advisor. They tell you that you need to verify your account information. Or they claim you can avoid extra taxes by transferring your money through their third-party service. Some scams are more elaborate. Criminals pose as gold or precious metals salespeople. They tell you the dollar is collapsing and your 401k is in danger. They convince you to roll over your retirement account into what they call a protected gold investment. That money disappears. Cryptocurrency scams work similarly. Scammers promise massive returns. They show fake account balances. Once you transfer your retirement funds, the money is gone. The urgency is a key tactic. Scammers say things like, act now or lose your retirement benefits. They create fear. Fear leads to bad decisions. Here is what makes this so dangerous right now. The rule changes I mentioned earlier are real. So when someone calls you about 401k changes in 2026, part of what they say is actually true. That makes the scam more believable. There is pending legislation that would waive early withdrawal penalties for fraud victims. The fact that lawmakers are considering this tells you how serious this problem has become. Now, the next threat does not involve criminals at all. It is built into the structure of your investments. Threat number 4, market volatility and the sequence of returns. Risk. Let me explain something that could cut your retirement income in half. It is called sequence of returns risk. Understanding this might be the most important thing you learn today. Here is how it works. Imagine you retire with $1 million. You plan to withdraw 4% per year. That is $40,000. Financial planners have traditionally said this is a safe withdrawal rate that should last 30 years. But what happens if the market crashes in your first year of retirement? Let us say the market drops 30%. Your $1 million becomes $700,000. You still need to withdraw $40,000 to live. Now you have $660,000 left. Here is the problem. When the market eventually recovers, those gains apply to $660,000, not your original million. You sold shares at the bottom to cover your living expenses. Those shares are gone. They will never participate in the recovery. This is different from what happens when you are young and working. During your career, if the market drops, you can keep contributing. You buy more shares at low prices. When the market recovers, you benefit. But in retirement, you are doing the opposite. You are selling, and selling during a downturn permanently damages your portfolio. Morningstar's research shows that for an all-equity portfolio, the safe withdrawal rate drops to only 3.4%. Watch your Morningstar on safe withdrawal rates. That means instead of $40,000 a year from your $1 million, you can safely take only $34,000. A balanced portfolio of 30-50% stocks performs better, supporting a 3.9% withdrawal rate. The Urban Institute analyzed what happened to people near retirement during the 2008 crash. Our DAS Urban Institute on stock market collapse. Near retirees with high equity exposure lost an average of $148,000. Some delayed retirement by 1 to 2 years. For mid-boomers without recovery, the projected income loss was 9.9%. For high-income groups heavily invested in stocks, that number rose to 13.6%, and they never got that money back. What makes this dangerous right now? The market has been volatile. Economic uncertainty is high. Inflation, even though it has cooled, continues to erode purchasing power. And now there is pressure to add even riskier assets to your retirement account. Which brings me to threat number 5. Threat number 5, they want to put crypto and private equity in your 401k. In August 2025, President Trump signed an executive order called Democratizing Access to Alternative Assets for 401k Investors. White House Executive Order on Democratizing Access to Alternative Assets. This order directs government agencies to make it easier for retirement plans to include cryptocurrencies, private equity, and other alternative investments. On the surface, this sounds good. More choices, more opportunity. Institutional investors have made money with alternative assets. Why should not regular people have the same access? But here is the reality. Bitcoin is 5 times more volatile than the broad US stock market, watch CNBC on crypto risks. In 2018, Bitcoin dropped 74%. In 2022, it fell 64%. Just in the last few weeks, it plunged 33%, erasing nearly $800 billion in value. Senator Elizabeth Warren put it directly. For most Americans, their 401k represents a lifeline to retirement security rather than a playground for financial risk. CNBC on Elizabeth Warren SEC letter. The Government Accountability Office did a study in 2024, CNBC, on Elizabeth Warren SEC letter. They found that crypto assets have uniquely high volatility, and there is no standard approach for projecting the potential future returns of crypto assets. Let me translate that. Even experts cannot reliably predict what crypto will do. There is no historical track record. There are no established valuation methods. It is guesswork. Private equity has problems too. High fees, often 2% management plus 20% of profits. Your money gets locked up for years. Valuations are not transparent. You cannot sell when you want to. Research from the Center for Retirement Research shows that private equity did not reliably boost returns or cut volatility in public pension plans after the 2008 financial crisis. Center for Retirement Research on Private Equity. After you account for fees, it often underperformed traditional equities. Here is what concerns me most. These alternative assets will likely be included in target date funds. Those are the default investment options that most people end up in. Workers who do not actively manage their accounts could find themselves exposed to crypto volatility without even knowing it. Now, I promised you solutions. Here they are. how to protect yourself, your action plan. I'm going to give you specific steps for each threat. For tax changes, talk to a tax professional before this year ends. Understand exactly how the new Roth catch-up rules affect your situation. For some people, paying taxes now might actually be better if you expect tax rates to increase. For others, you might want to reduce contributions to avoid the Roth requirement and invest in a taxable account instead. There is no one-size-fits-all answer. Get professional advice. Also, diversify where you hold your retirement savings. Do not put everything in a 401k. Consider a Roth IRA if you qualify. Consider a health savings account which has triple tax advantages. Having money in different types of accounts gives you flexibility no matter what tax rules change. For cybersecurity, first, enable two-factor authentication on every account related to your money, your 401k, your bank accounts, your email. Two-factor authentication means even if someone steals your password, they cannot log in without also having your phone. Second, use unique passwords for every financial account. Use a password manager. Do not use the same password twice. If one site gets breached and you use that password elsewhere, criminals will try it on every financial site. Third, set up transaction alerts. Your 401k provider and bank can notify you instantly when money moves. If you get an alert for a transaction you did not make, you can act immediately. Fourth, review your beneficiary information. Log in to your 401k right now and verify that your beneficiaries are correct. Criminals sometimes change beneficiary information so that when you die, your money goes to them or a fictitious entity. Fifth, consider a credit freeze. This prevents anyone from opening new accounts in your name. It is free. You can unfreeze it temporarily when you need to apply for credit. For scams, never respond to unsolicited communications about your retirement account. If you get an email, call, or letter about your 401k, do not click any links or call any phone numbers in that message. Instead, go directly to your plan provider's official website or call the number on your statement. Be extremely skeptical of urgency. Real financial institutions give you time to make decisions. Scammers create artificial deadlines. Verify everything independently. If someone claims to be from the IRS, hang up and call the IRS directly using the number on their official website. If someone claims to be from your plan administrator, call the administrator using contact information you already have. Never give your social security number, account numbers, or passwords to someone who contacted you first. Legitimate institutions already have this information. They do not need to ask. For sequence of returns risk, this requires serious attention as you approach retirement. Vanguard recommends starting at 90% equities when you are young, Vanguard Target Date Fund Glide Path, and gradually reducing to 50% at retirement and 30% by age 72. This is called a glide path. If you are within 5 years of retirement, look at your allocation now. Are you too aggressive? If you have 80% or more in stocks, you are taking significant risk. Build a cash buffer. Keep 2 to 4 years of expenses in cash or very safe investments like money market funds. If the market crashes in your first years of retirement, you can draw from this buffer instead of selling stocks at a loss. This gives your portfolio time to recover. Consider flexible withdrawal strategies. If the market drops significantly, can you reduce your spending temporarily? Even a 5 to 10% reduction in withdrawals during bad years dramatically improves your long-term success rate. For alternative assets, be very cautious about any cryptocurrency or private equity options that appear in your 401k. Read the fine print. Understand the fees. Know what you are buying. If you want exposure to crypto, keep it small. Financial advisors who recommend it typically suggest no more than 5% of your portfolio, never more than you can afford to lose entirely. Remember that target date funds might start including alternative assets. Check what is in your target date fund. You might be surprised. The bigger picture. Let me be clear about something. I am not telling you to abandon your 401k. For most people, it remains one of the best ways to save for retirement. The employer match alone makes it worthwhile. Tax-deferred growth is powerful over decades. But you cannot be passive anymore. The environment has changed. New rules are reducing benefits. Criminals are targeting retirement accounts with sophisticated attacks. Market risks are real. and policy decisions are introducing new volatility into what should be stable investments. Your retirement security is your responsibility. Nobody cares about your money as much as you do. Not your employer, not your plan administrator, not the government, not Wall Street. You need to pay attention. You need to take action. You need to protect what you have built. Here's what I want you to do right now. Log into your 401k account. Check your allocation. Verify your beneficiaries. Make sure two-factor authentication is enabled. Review the investment options for any new alternative assets. Let me go deeper on something because I think it is critical. Even without any of the threats I mentioned, your 401k is fighting a constant battle against inflation. Inflation is when prices go up over time. If inflation is 3% per year, something that costs $100 today will cost about $243 in 30 years. Your retirement savings need to grow faster than inflation just to maintain their purchasing power. The U.S. Department of Labor released a report in 2024 about inflation's impact on retirement savings. U.S. Department of Labor report on inflation. They identified 3 ways inflation hurts you. First, the income effect. When prices rise but your salary does not keep pace, you have less money available to contribute to retirement. Surveys show that 25% of working adults cut their retirement contributions in 2022 when inflation peaked. For Hispanic workers, that number was 40%. Second, the substitution effect. Higher future expenses mean you need more money to maintain your lifestyle. Saving becomes relatively more expensive because each dollar saved today buys less in the future. Third, the wealth effect. Inflation transfers wealth from savers to borrowers. If you are saving in a low-yield account while prices rise, your purchasing power decreases. Let me show you numbers. If inflation averages 3% per year, $100,000 today has the purchasing power of only $41,198 in 30 years. At 4% inflation, that drops to $30,132. At 5% inflation, just $23,138. Your 401k balance might show a large number, but the real question is, what will that money actually buy? This is why your investments need to outpace inflation. Historically, stocks have done this. The S&P 500 has averaged around 7 to 8% real returns, meaning after inflation over long periods. Bonds typically have not. Cash definitely has not. This creates a tension with the sequence of returns risk I mentioned earlier. You need stocks for growth. But stocks are volatile, so you need to balance growth with stability as you approach retirement. There is no perfect solution, but awareness is the first step. What the institutions know that you do not, big pension funds, do something individual investors rarely do. They model scenarios. They ask, what happens to our portfolio if the market drops 40%? What if inflation spikes to 8%? What if interest rates rise rapidly? Then they build portfolios designed to survive multiple scenarios, not just the expected outcome, the unexpected ones too. You should do the same. Think about your personal situation. If the market dropped 40% next year, what would happen to you? If you are young and working, probably nothing. You keep contributing. You ride it out. Maybe you even buy more at lower prices. If you are 5 years from retirement, it is more serious. You might delay retirement. If you are already retired, it could be devastating. Your income might drop permanently. Now think about your allocation. Does it match your ability to survive a crash? Most people have never done this exercise. They pick a target date fund or some arbitrary stock bond mix and never think about it again. That was fine when retirement planning was simpler. It is not fine anymore. Let me address something I have not talked about yet. Fees. Every 401k plan charges fees. Investment funds charge fees. Record keepers charge fees. Administrators charge fees. According to the Department of Labor, fees of just 1% per year can reduce your retirement savings by 28% over 35 years. Let me make that concrete. If you would have had $500,000 without fees, 1% annual fees leave you with $360,000. That is $140,000 lost to fees. Many people do not even know what fees they pay. The disclosure rules have improved, but the information is often buried in documents nobody reads. Index funds typically charge 0.06% to 0.20% per year. Actively managed funds charge 0.50% to 1.50% or more. Target date funds vary widely. Private equity and crypto options will likely charge even more. Private equity often uses a 2 and 20 structure. That means 2% annual management fee plus 20% of profits. Here's a question to ask yourself. What am I paying in fees? If you do not know the answer, find out. Log into your account. Look for expense ratio or fee disclosure. Add up everything you are paying. If your fees are high, look for lower cost alternatives within your plan. Many plans now offer index fund options. Use them. Every dollar you save on fees is a dollar that stays in your account and compounds for your retirement. I want to talk about something else that threatens your 401k, yourself. Behavioral finance research shows that investors consistently make emotional decisions that hurt their returns. They buy when markets are high because they feel confident. They sell when markets are low because they feel afraid. This behavior is the opposite of what you should do. In 2008, when the market crashed, many people panicked and sold everything. They locked in their losses. Then they missed the recovery. The market more than tripled over the next decade. But people who sold at the bottom did not participate. Here is the dangerous thing about the current environment. With all the threats I have described, you might feel like you should take action. You might feel like you should sell everything, or move to cash, or do something dramatic. For most people, most of the time, that is the wrong answer. The best retirement investors are boring. They set up automatic contributions. They pick a reasonable allocation. They rebalance occasionally. They do not panic. The threats I have described are real, but the right response is usually not dramatic action. It is informed preparation. Check your allocation. Make sure your cybersecurity is solid. Understand the scams. Know the risks. Then stay the course. The enemy of good retirement planning is not usually the market. It is panic. I want to be fair about something. Not all government action is bad for your 401k. The Secure 2.0 Act, despite the Roth catch-up change, includes provisions that help retirement savers. Automatic enrollment in new plans starting in 2025 means more people will participate in retirement saving. The default contribution rate must start at least 3% and increase annually to at least 10%. This helps people who would not otherwise save. The age for required minimum distributions, the age when you must start withdrawing money, has increased. This gives your money more time to grow. Small, immediate financial needs can now be addressed with emergency savings provisions in 401ks. This might help people avoid rating their retirement for unexpected expenses. The contribution limits are increasing to keep pace with inflation. The 2026 limit of $24,500 is $1,000 higher than 2025. Super catch-up contributions for ages 60-63 allow $11,250 in extra contributions. This helps people in their peak earning years save more. So the picture is mixed. Some changes help you, some do not. Your job is to understand which is which and plan accordingly. What does the future hold for 401ks? Nobody knows for certain, but trends give us clues. Alternative assets will likely become more common. The executive order I mentioned is pushing in that direction. Within a few years, crypto and private equity options may be standard in many plans. Cybersecurity threats will intensify. As AI becomes more powerful, attacks become more sophisticated. The cat and mouse game between criminals and defenders will accelerate. Regulatory changes will continue. The current political environment favors reducing restrictions on what 401ks can hold. Future administrations might reverse course. The rules will keep changing. Market volatility is likely to persist. Global uncertainty, technological disruption, climate change, geopolitical tensions. Many factors contribute to an unpredictable market. This does not mean disaster is inevitable. It means preparation is essential. The people who thrive will be those who stay informed, remain adaptable, and take proactive steps to protect their savings. That can be you. Take action today. Check your accounts, enable security features, review your allocation, understand your fees, talk to a professional. Your retirement depends on it. Thank you for your time. Stay safe and take care of your financial future.